Hi there, my name is John Holden. I graduated from the University of Connecticut in 1992 with a bachelor's degree in ornamental horticulture. In 1993, I started Land Designs Unlimited. I design, install, and maintain landscapes for homeowners in Upper Fairfield County, Connecticut. Today, I'd like to share my passion with you. How you doing today, folks? Today we're in Newtown, Connecticut, and I'd like to show you a berm that we planted about a month ago. I didn't get a chance to get back out and film the video, but I just want to show you the end results of this nice berm we did to break up this very large and open front yard. And you know, when I was talking to actually before I go any farther into the video, let me just flip over and show you what the before picture of this landscape looked like. So here is your landscape as it looks now, and then I'll flip over and this is the before picture. And I think this is really a great example of, you know, when people call me and they want a landscape design, and if you ever look at finished landscapes, people think that it just comes to us, you know, the answers. And you know, it's taken me a long time to get where I am, and I've done lots of jobs, and the answers do come quicker. But I mean, you know, when we first looked at this job, there was nothing, you know, it was just a blank piece of grass. And my clients wanted something that's going to look nicer. And I think, you know, I harp on this a lot in my videos, but that's the value of a good landscape designer, is they can take nothing and make it fit in, make it look nice. So when I talk to my clients about what they wanted the job, you know, what their vision of the end result of the job was supposed to be, they said they wanted some shade on the front yard because, I don't know if you can see or not, but this whole yard is crabgrass. And they wanted some shade so they could hopefully keep some moisture in the lawn and grow better grass. And then they also wanted to do something to kind of break up the front yard. So initially what we had discussed doing was just putting some trees through the yard. But I think you'll agree that it really looks a lot better with this nice berm in the middle of the yard to break things up. And I do see a second phase to this job where someday we will come back and plant some more trees. The key with the trees is up to my left here is an area where the kids usually play in the yard. And remember, your client's needs, your needs always come first. So we want to make sure we don't put a tree right where the kids are going to play. So that was the first thing, was to basically just break up the yard. And then they did want to give it some interest. And that's why we ended up going with, you know, the berm you see. So here's the end result. We're a little bit closer now. And before we go too far, let me just show you. The first thing we did is I came in with my paint gun, I drew a nice line, and the masons come in and built this beautiful wall. And I want to talk a little bit more about the wall later because they really did a fantastic job. And I think this wall is a true example of what good masonry, fine masonry really looks like. But the first thing we did was go ahead and build the wall, and then we came back and installed the berm. And I just want to show you a picture I took about a month and a half ago when this berm first went in. It had a little bit more color in midsummer. But what I ended up doing was just basically working some plants in that are going to give interest through the season. I've got everything from some fothergilla on the right here. There's a group of 3 fothergilla on either side. Let's see if I can fit in the camera here. So what we ended up doing is I've got 3 fothergilla on either side of this bed, which is a shrub that's going to flower in early spring before the leaves come on with bottle brush white flowers. So those are my 2 plants on either side that kind of frame the garden. I did end up going with a more of a balanced look to the garden. That's me. I'm a orderly type person. I'm fairly certain this garden would work just as well with things not balanced, but you know, go to your strengths. And then the center of the berm here is a Yoshino Cherry. This is a fairly small tree right now, but as time goes by, this Yoshino, which is a very fast grower, will grow to easily be 30 to 40 foot tall. It'll have a nice spread to it, and it'll really fill in the space, for lack of a better term. Now the Yoshino is going to be just covered. It's a very reliable bloomer. in early spring with pink flowers. I guess early to mid-spring with nice pink flowers. I'm not sure if you can see from where you guys are down there, but I've got 3 Ivory halo dogwoods. It's a variegated dogwood, and that's another shrub that's going to give us a multi-season interest. Right now we've got this nice variegated foliage that's going to grow to be 4 to 5 feet tall. And then in the winter, what'll happen is when it loses its leaves, it's going to have these nice red twigs. So that's something that's got a multi-season interest. You'll have these nice red twigs poking through the snow. And then on either side, what I've got here is Limelight Hydrangeas in the back. Now these limelights are just a beautiful midsummer color, midsummer interest plant, and these limelights are very fast growing. They'll easily be 5 to 6 foot tall in, I'm going to say 3 to 4 years. You can prune them to keep them whatever height you want, but as time goes by, this berm is just going to kind of fill in and grow together and just be different things happening at different times of the year. But this limelight is going to give you that nice summer color, and the flowers linger all the way till fall. Okay? And then this perennial right here, which is absolutely loaded with bees, this is called fairy candles. And I will admit that as I'm standing here now, the garden does seem a little bit out of balance because these fairy candles are so big. But everything else is going to grow in. I mean, this is tall as these fairy candles are going to get. Very reliable bloomer, deer resistant. And here we are, it's actually mid-September right now, and we have these really nice white flowers. And then down in front, you can see we've got some purple coneflower. I mixed in 3 purple coneflower on either side. I could have very easily used purple coneflower on one side and something else, a different plant on the other side. But very reliable perennial, looks really nice, long bloom. So that's where we have the purple coneflower. And then down in the front here, this is Visions Astilbe. There's a whole swath of them here. As time goes by, this Visions, it's a slow spreader, but it's going to go ahead and fill in this garden. And the Visions is going to flower. The flowers are going to be about yay high. It's a really nice, bright pink flower. And in the spring when this blooms, this is going to bloom like May, June, mid to late spring. When this Visions is blooming, your fairy candles will still be emerging, so they'll only be maybe 12 to 18 inches tall. So that'll just be a really nice, when people drive down the street, they'll see the Visions Astilbe, and that'll really be what they talk about, that nice bright pink flower. And they'll probably be asked quite often, what is that flower? So we've got just a mix of different plants that are going to really do a nice job adding some interest through different seasons. I didn't go with any evergreens. We're out in the middle of the lawn. There's no foundation to block. If things don't look quite the same over the winter, it's not going to be the end of the world. Well, thanks a lot for spending a few minutes with me today to take a tour of the gardens, and I hope you learned something about landscape design. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them below. If you're watching me on YouTube, if you're on my blog at landdesigns.com, you're welcome to leave a question in the blog. If you haven't subscribed, I hope you'll subscribe to the channel. We're going to have regular videos teaching you some more about designing, about plants, a little bit of everything about working in the yard and in your landscape. There's going to be a second video in this one where I'm going to walk you through the plants in the garden, so I'll put a link to that right here. Feel free to click on that, and I'll show you some more detail about caring for these plants. Have a wonderful day, folks, and happy gardening.